In this lecture, we are going to deal with data types in Python. Some of the data types are numbers, strings, list, set, tuple, and dictionary. About number data type in Python. Python support integers, floating point numbers, and complex numbers. They are defined as int, float, and complex classes in Python. Integers and floating points are separated by the presence or absence of a decimal point. For instance, 5 is an integer, whereas 5.0 is a floating point number. Complex numbers are written in the form of x plus yj, where x is the real part and y is the imaginary part. We can use the type function to know which class a variable or a value belongs to, and instance functions to check if it belongs to a particular class. Let's look at the example. Let's take a variable a equal to 5 and we can print type of a if it shows that it's an integer type. Let's type that 5.0 or printing the type of a 5.0 definitely shows that float. And come to the point of a complex number. C is equal to 5 plus 3j. So we are going to print type of C and it shows that's a complex type. We can also use the is instance functions to check whether C is a complex number. For that purpose, we are using print is instance. We are giving the variable name and checking whether it is a complex number or not. Definitely it's true. While integers can be of any length, a floating point number is accurate only up to the 15 decimal points. The 16th place is an inaccurate. The numbers we deal with every day are of decimal or base 10 number system, but computer programmers, generally embedded programmers, need to work with binary or base 2 and hexadecimal base 16 and octal base 8 number system. In Python, we can represent these numbers by appropriately placing a prefix before that number. The following table, or we can illustrate like this. So I'm going to give that value print 0b110111, where 0b is 0b is used to represent the binary number system. Let's see another example. I'm going to adding two numbers 251 and 2 in hexadecimal representations. That's why we are using 0x as the prefix over here, and let get run that, and the answer is 253. And one more example, and I'm going to print in an octal. For that purpose, we are using 0 or before that 15. Actually, the output become what? 13. We can convert one type of a number into another. This is also known as coercion. Operations like addition, subtraction coerce integer to float implicitly or automatically if one of the operation is float. Let's see an example. So already seen that 1 plus 2.0 or 2.0 become 3.0. We can see above that 1 is an integer is coerced with 1.0 is converted into float for addition, and the result is also a floating point number, and it becomes 3.0. We can also use the built-in functions like int, float, and complex to convert between these types explicitly. These functions can even convert from strings. Let's see an examples. I want to convert into integer from a float value 2.3, and it's converted into 2. If the case here, sorry, integer of minus 2.8 become minus 2, and converting float of 5, it becomes 5.0, and I want to convert complex number, and here I'm going to convert a string into a complex number, and it becomes 3 plus 5j. When converting from float to integer, the numbers gets truncated. That means the decimal parts are removed. Let's see another example. I'm going to adding 1.1 plus 2.2 and checking whether equal to 3.3 is false. What is going on? It turns out that the floating point numbers are implemented in computer hardware as binary fractions, as the computer only understands the binary, that means 0 or 1. Due to these reasons, most of the decimal fractions we know cannot be accurately stored in our computer. Let's take an example. We cannot represent the fraction 1 by 3 as a decimal number. This will give what 0.333 in infinite long way, and we can only approximate it. It turns out that the decimal fractions 0.1 will result in an infinitely long binary fractions of 0.0011001100110011 like that, and our computer only stored a finite number of it. This will only approximate 0.1 but never be equal. Hence, it is the limitation of our computer hardware and not an error in Python. So let's see an example. 1.1 plus 2.2 become 3.30000, and is approximately 3. To overcome this issue, we can use the decimal module. We will discuss about modules in later sessions, and that comes in Python. While floating point numbers have precision up to 15 decimal places, and decimal module has user settable precision. Let's see the difference. Now I am going to importing a decimal. That means a module to be included in our program, we have to use a keyword called import. And now I'm going to print 0.1, become 0.1. Now I'm going to print decimal of 0.1. It becomes like this. This module is used when we want to carry out the decimal calculations as we learned in schools. It also preserves the significance. We know that 25.50 kg is more accurate than 25.55 kg, as it has two significant decimal places compared to 1. So let's see another example, and this is another way to include the module in our program. From the decimal, I need to import the decimal, and it is named as D. Now instead of a decimal, I can use D. So the print D of 1.1 and adding with the 2.2, so it becomes 3.3 instead of 3.3000003. So let's discuss about next data type, that is called as string. A string is a sequence of characters. A character is a symbol. For example, the English language has 26 characters. The computers do not deal with the characters. They deal with numbers or binary. Even even though you may see the characters on your screen, internally it is stored and manipulated as a combination of 0 and 1s. This conversion of character to a number is called as encoding, and the reverse process is called as decoding. ASCII and Unicode are some of the popular encoding used. In Python, a string is a sequence of Unicode characters. Unicode was introduced to include every character in all languages and bring uniformly in coding. So let's see how can we create a string in Python. String can be created by enclosing the characters inside a single quote or double quotes. Even triple quotes can be used in Python, but generally used to represent the multi-line strings and doc strings. So I'm going to declare a variable called my string, which is equal to hello. We can see here we are using a single quotes to declare the string, and just print hello. In the same way, we can declare the strings in with a double quotes. Become hello, and also we can use the triple quotes. Again, it's hello. Normally, the triple quotes can be extended to multiple lines like this. You can see that the string is in a multiple lines. Next question may arise: how to access the characters in a string? We can access individual characters using indexing and range of characters using slicing. Index starts from 0. Trying to access a character out of the index range will raise an index error. The index must be an integer. We cannot use a floats or other types. This will result into type error. The Python allows negative indexing for its sequence. The index of -1 refers to the last item, -2 is the second last item, and so on. We can access a range of items in a string by using the slicing operator, that is colon. So let's see an example. I'm going to declare a variable str for a string programs of Marcy. See that print statements like the string is assigned with a string called EMMRC. If I want to access the first character, I need to give only str0. You can see that it is E. Instead of accessing the first character, if I want to access the last character, I need to give only the negative index. And I can use a slicing second to the fifth character. You can see MMRC. This is from second to fifth. Now we are Going to slicing from 5 to, you can see that answer is like this. If you try to access an index out of the range or use numbers other than integer, we will get an error. So already we mentioned that. Suppose already we mentioned my string is like this. See what will happen. Going to so my string contains the fifth character. Instead, you can give str50. So it's string out of range, and also say str that range one. Also, the string indices must be an integer, not a floating number. Strings are immutable. This means that elements of a string cannot be changed once they have been assigned. We can simply reassign the different strings to the same name. So str of 5 equal to a definitely stores gives a type error. The object does not support the item assignment. Instead, we can give like this. Okay. Definitely it will print the value. Come to the point of Python string operations. There are many operations that can be performed with the string, which makes it one of the most used data types in Python. First one is concatenation. Concatenation means joining of two or more strings into a single one, and it's called as concatenation. For that purpose, we are using plus operator in Python. So, and also the star operator can be used to repeat the strings for a given number of times. Let's discuss with an example. So I'm going to declare first variable str1 is equal to hello, and the next variable is str2 with a string called val. I need to concatenate with two strings using the plus operator. You can see that the str1 and str2 equal to str1 plus str2. Definitely we got the answer as hello world. Instead, if I am going to use a star operator, you can see it's repeated 3 times because I'm using 3 over here. This is another way of representation of, yes, I'm going to give in a multi-line representation. Now it is concatenated with the hello world. Come to the point of Python string formatting. For the purpose, we are using an escape sequence. If you want to print a text like he said, what is there? We can neither using a single quotes or a double quotes. This will be result as syntax error, as the text itself contains the both single and double quotes. You can see here it's a double quotes and there is a single quotes and it's ended with a double quotes. So let's see what will happen if I'm going to print it. It's invalid string. One way to get around this problem is to use a triple quotes. Alternatively, we can use an escape sequence. An escape sequence starts with a backslash and is interpreted differently. If we use a single quote to represent a string, all the strings single quotes inside the string must be escaped. Similar is the case of the double quotes. Here is how can be done to represent the above text. I'm going to use here is the triple quotes, and there is no error, and the same thing can be expressed with an escape key. You see I'm using backslash over here. There. And I can give escaping key for double quotes, so also works well. We can discuss in some more example. You see print, I'm going using double backslash. What will be the result? And it points to a single backslash. And next one, you can see that it's a backslash with a new line. Definitely it will be printed in a another line. That means this is printed in the first line, and in two lines is printed in a second line. Similarly, here I am using backslash x48. That means the character with the hexadecimal value. This 48 and 44 and 58 is in a hexadecimal representation. Definitely this is a hex representation. That means this is corresponding for H, and this is corresponding for E, and this is corresponding for X in hexadecimal. Some of the common Python string methods. There are numerous methods available with the string objects. The format methods that are mentioned in previous lecture is one of the common method, and some of the commonly used methods are lower function and upper methods, join methods, split, find, and replace, etc. Here is a complete example. So going to convert this string into a lowercase using lowercase function. Forgot to give that string. It's a string that is converted into lowercase. The same thing can be converted into uppercase. Becomes like this. And if I want to split a string using a split function, so I am tokenize that entire strings. Similarly, you can use a join function to join each strings together like this. And also we can find a string, a substring in a string like this. You can see that it is within the x7. Also I can replace the one word can be replaced with another one like this using a replace function.